Let me start by congratulating the Chancellor for having been awarded an honorary doctorate in social entrepreneurship. Congratulations, sir. It is a very good afternoon to all of you, ladies and gentlemen. I would like to convey my special and warm welcome to the graduates and their parents, spouses, relatives, and friends. Honored guests, ladies and gentlemen, and in particular, our new graduate, the Zimbabwe Council for Higher Education, which is represented by me and Professor Felicity Gumbo, who is one of our chief directors in charge of life and health sciences, joins the following distinguished guests in being party to this historic and memorable occasion at which our Chancellor has been awarded with a doctorate. I start with the Honorable Deputy Minister of Higher and Tertiary Education, Science, Innovation and Technology Development, Honorable Raymond Machingura, the Honorable Paul Mavima, Honorable Minister of Public Service, Labor and Social Welfare, the Honorable Minister of State for Provincial Affairs, Mashonaland Central, represented Comrade Monica Mavunga, represented by Mr. Shereni, the Chairman of the ZEGU Council, Dr. Kasese, whom I've known for many years, going back to the University of Zimbabwe, the Archbishop, Forward in Faith Ministries International of South Africa, Elias Soko, Professor C.J. Chatsanga, our venerable Vice Chancellor and an academic of repute, members of the Zaoja Forward in Faith Ministries International Executive Board here present, the Secretary General of Zaoja Forward Faith Ministries International, Apostle Michael Nyambo, the local bishop, Bishop Christopher Kapandura, the President of the Evangelical Fellowship in Zimbabwe, Bishop Neva Mparuta, and officials accompanying him, senior government officials. And let me, with a warm heart, recognize Professor Sunungurai Dominica Chingarande, who is no newcomer to this institution. But now, I congratulate you, Professor, as the Vice Chancellor of the Women's University in Africa, and obviously one of the key officials in this particular institution, Vice Chancellors and representatives of other universities. And let me also warmly acknowledge my former colleague and former Deputy Chief Executive Officer of the Zimbabwe Council, now Pro-Vice Chancellor of the ZEGU, Professor Evelyn Garu. Congratulations on your appointment. Thank you. Captains of Commerce and Industry present, principal officers of the university, staff and students, distinguished guests, staff, students, parents and guardians. I join all of you in congratulating and acknowledging the Chancellor, Professor Ezekiel Handinawangu Guti, and Deputy Chancellor Dr. Iono Guti, I probably mispronounced the first name, to this majestic and memorable occasion. On behalf of the ZIMCHE, I acknowledge the vision, the foresight, and determination of the Chancellor of the ZEGU, Professor Ezekiel Guti, in working tirelessly in establishing and sustaining this fine institution. Chancellor, I join members of your family, your church, the ZEGU Council, Senate, staff, students, and parents in congratulating you for being honored by this institution with an honorary doctorate. You are the first one. In that particular case, you have actually set the pace for everybody. You deserve to be awarded with the honorary doctorate, which is the highest honor that this university, and indeed any other university, can bestow on any one person. You deserve it because you have been a pathfinder in the history of university education in this country, in this region, in the global south, in the global north, and worldwide. So I congratulate you. Mr. Chancellor, sir, I feel greatly honored to have been invited to this special and auspicious occasion to give a commencement speech at the award of an honorary doctorate to yourself in this institution. This is a first in the history of this university. We honor you for your vision, for your courage, for your selflessness, for your wisdom and dedication in establishing this institution and institutions worldwide. We are all here because of you. I also congratulate the graduates. I wish them well as they join the world in several professions for which they were well prepared at this institution and following your example. My simple message to the graduates is that you must remember that Education 5.0, as the Deputy Minister of Higher Education has opined earlier on, is asking our graduates and students to be creative and begin to add value to Zimbabwe's heritage, as the Germans have done with coal and the Arabs have done with oil. They have used their natural heritages to develop their countries and even to dominate the world economically. Mr. Chancellor, sir, and Vice Chancellor, distinguished guests, graduates, ladies and gentlemen, Thomas Edison teaches us that relentlessness and discontent are the first necessities of progress. And this is what Chancellor Guti has shown all of us. This is the stuff that entrepreneurs are made of, and hence the doctorate that has been given to him in social entrepreneurship. I really want to talk to the students that are graduating today, that if you want to make a mark in your life, if you want to make a mark in your locality, if you want to make a mark in this country, if you want to make a mark globally, you must be involved in social entrepreneurship. And I want to urge you graduates to remember that in its education, the soul of a people mirrors itself. You must follow the lifetime achievement of our Chancellor of this university, who dedicated his life to serving humanity for the rest of his life. As you go into the world, please also remember that education is not a preparation for life. Education is life itself. My advice to you is that education is not merely a means for earning a living or an instrument for the acquisition of wealth and power. It is an initiation into life of spirit, a training of the human soul in the pursuit of truth and the practice of virtue. This is what the Chancellor has done and continues to do the rest of his life. To my fellow academics, I thank you for the excellent work that you're doing as represented by the graduates in front of us. I'm saying to you, you must change the way you conceive of teaching and learning in the new academy. In other words, you must begin to rethink and reimagine the way we teach and the way our students learn. You must focus on systematic learning and new architectures of learning to expose students to critical thinking and the development of competencies cognitively and affectively. I urge you in your lecture rooms to invite dissent in your lecture rooms, as Paulo Freire and Vygotsky have taught us. A great teacher, my advice to you is that a great teacher never strives to explain his vision or her vision. He or she simply invites you to stand beside him and see for yourself. Why? Because the mediocre teacher tells, the good teacher explains, the superior teacher demonstrates, the great teacher inspires. I have been inspired by the Chancellor. I have been inspired by the life of the Chancellor. When Professor Mavima was talking, I was greatly inspired by a Zimbabwean, a chancellor, a man of the church, who went all over the world including the islands, to establish churches. I therefore say to you, graduates, I am here as a member of the Zimbabwe Council of Higher Education to put our seal of approval on your degrees. I'm saying to the academics, you have shown beyond reasonable doubt that you have what it takes to produce graduates who will be able to help us to achieve our Vision 2030 so that Zimbabwe attains the status of an upper middle income economy by the year 2030. So I thank you, academics. I have a little message to those academics who do not have the prefix DR before their names. I say to the academics, for those of you without doctorates, it is a must that you must have the intellectual integrity that comes with a doctorate degree, so that you have the integrity intellectually, professionally, academically to stand in front of these young men and women. With these few remarks, Mr. Chancellor Sir, Mr. Vice Chancellor, Chairman of Council, the Pro-Vice Chancellor, ladies and gentlemen, I thank all of you for being part of this historic moment at which affectionately our Chancellor, Baba Guti, was awarded a deserving and really overdue honorary doctorate. From this university, to acknowledge his commitment to this institution, to acknowledge his commitment to this country, to acknowledge his commitment to our people, to acknowledge his commitment to the church, to acknowledge his commitment to humanity. I wish him long life so that he continues to be a pathfinder in assisting this country in the spiritual and higher education realms. I thank you, Baba Guti. Well done, sir.